Hello, cool artisans. My name is Shonda, and welcome to my channel Under the Needle. This is going to be a quick video. I'm just here to show you a quilt that I just finished. So I said I wasn't going to do any large projects because I was just kind of burnt out. And so when I made that choice, I cut out a quilt. I said, I'm not going to quilt. I'm not going to make any large quilts, but I might start some fabric and cut out a project, which I did. And the project that I cut out was this one here. This is called Chandelier. It's by Lella Boutique. It's in the book Charm School, but, but I believe you can also get this pattern for free on her website. So it's set on point. Can't really get a good picture of it. Let's try this way. Yeah. Ignore all the mess. I still have to clean up from all the unboxings. Yeah, this is better. So this is what the quilt looks like. It finishes at 60 by 60. And there's a similar pattern to this that Donna Jordan did. Donna Jordan's pattern is called Beads. It's a free pattern on her website. Her pattern uses 2 identical charm packs. Donna Jordan's pattern uses quarter yards, fat quarters, or fat eighths. And Donna Jordan's is strip pieced. So it's a little bit less cutting and a little bit less sewing, a little bit less pieces. So if I ever made this quilt again, I'd probably go with that one. But I used this one because I wanted to make this specific quilt, but I used Lella Boutiques because I had 2 charm packs. I had Hustle and Bustle, where was the charm packs. Hustle and Bustle was a line that came out by Basic Gray for Christmas last year. This year was Peppermint Bark. Last year was Hustle and Bustle. I love Basic Gray, and I loved Hustle and Bustle. I love the cute little prints in that line. These are some of my leftovers here. And you can kind of see some of the pretty prints. And I love the fact that there weren't a lot of duplicates in here. So this one is duplicated, but not. I think this one I left out because you only needed 41. So I left this out. So I had an extra block. This particular print is duplicated, but not this. We got plaids. This is an adorable print with little people. And you can't see, but the people are all different colors, and I love that. And it's not that they're just white and black, or they're just, cream colored and brown colored. Like, there are variations in cream and variations in the brown, and I just really liked that. And I just liked that there just there weren't a whole lot of duplicates. And since there weren't a lot of duplicates, that meant that, I would have a really scrappy look to my quilt. And that appealed to me as well. This is the duplicate. So again, so far only 3 duplicate prints. We've got some grunge in here. Yeah, it looks like just kind of flipping through all of them. There's only three different prints in this entire 3 duplicate prints in this entire line. So that made it really easy to put the quilt together because I didn't have to worry about a lot of stuff touching. So I'm going to show you the quilt. First, I'm going to show you the back. So I had found some really cute fleece at Joann's. And it was on sale, and then there was a discount for picking it up. And so I was like, I'm going to use this fleece. That way I don't have to use any batting, and it'll be nice and soft on the back. But I had some fat quarters that we got in the Jolly box last year that were Christmas, and I wanted to just go ahead and use them up. They were a little bit more non-traditional Christmas, but still Christmas. And then also I got a fat quarter in the Open Gate Quilt subscription box. And so I used that one as well. So this is what I ended up doing. So this is my pieced back. I love a pieced back. This strip here, this is what I had left from my background. This is a green grunge in the color Fern. I think I bought this grunge like 3 years ago, and I'm just now finished using it. So, but you can see the fat quarters that I used here. And you can see it's mirrored. So like the green is the same size, the red is the same size. These fat quarters are the same width. And then you can kind of see here. So that's the back of the quilt. I love it. I love how that came out. And then I'm going to show you the front. My only regret is that I meant for this to be the direction of the quilt. This is a square quilt. It's not rectangular. So it's the same size all the way around, right? But I meant for this to be the back, like the direction of the quilt. But when you turn it, I did not do it that way. I messed up. But I'm still happy with this quilt. So this is the front. I love how my quilting came out. Now, I decided to add a border, okay? This narrow border here. And the reason I did that is because these tips here, right here, you can easily lose these points. When you put this down to quilt it, you can have some shrinkage in and things like that. And then when you go to trim up your quilt, you can lose these points. And I did not want to lose these points, and they're all around the quilt. And then this here, this is bias also. And so this can stretch out of shape as well. All right, I'll meet you back. And I didn't want this, even though I was going to quilt it right away, I just didn't want all of the bias stretching and stuff like that. So I decided to stabilize the quilt by putting a border around it. Now my border, I cut my strips at 2.5 inches, but then when I squared up the quilt, I ended up trimming about 1/4 inch off. So this was 2 inches before I added the binding. I love how this binding came out. It's so neat. Of course, it's not neat on the back. Like, I always mess up my binding on the back, but I don't care. But I just love these little prints. It's like when I hold up the quilt, you kind of lose the how luscious these prints are and how great they look. Let me go full camera here. But you can get a better look at these prints and just how great this quilt came out, how great the quilting is. I just used my standard serpentine stitch. That's one of my go-tos. Just use the walking foot and the serpentine stitch on my machine. And I just love how this came out. I did my, these are about, my lines are about 2 inches apart, maybe 1.5 inches, 1.25 inches. I did not draw any lines. Basically, I just started by going down these areas here, right? And then I went back and I filled in, and then I did one in the middle, right? And then I went back and filled in again, and I did one coming down here where I kind of meet this point. And then I did one, of course, this one down the middle here. And then I did one in the middle here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I guess it doesn't make sense to count them, but. And I also did that same line of stitching down this border area here. And then I just love how this came out. Most of my lines are this way, but I did do a few going in the opposite direction. Just a very, very few. I still have everything out from all of my unboxings yesterday and today. Everything is everywhere. So excuse my mess, but I couldn't wait to show this quilt. So I have a line here, a line of stitching here, and then I just have just at equal distances. And I basically just used my quilting as my piecing as my guide. So I have one down here, down the border, and then I have one down here, down this large block. And then I have one that kind of goes in between these two smalls. And then again, another one here going down the large square, and another going down in between these two, like down that line. And that was just how I chose to quilt it. But super happy with how this came out. Super, super happy. I saw this, I don't even remember if I bought these two charm packs or if they came in a box, but I feel like I bought them because I was in love with this fabric line, and I feel like I bought these. But I can't be 100% sure if I like went and saw them and put them in my cart and bought them, or if they came in a subscription box. But I feel like I bought them because I really liked the line, and because I don't really do a lot of holiday sewing, a lot of Christmas fabric, I really didn't feel like a whole layer cake or a whole fat quarter bundle. I felt like that was going to be too much. So I just went with the two charm packs. And if I didn't, then that's what I would have done. So if it did come in a subscription box, if I had bought this line on my own, that's probably what I would have done. I would have got one or two charm packs just to do something simple, a small project. And this was just perfect. I mean, this was just the perfect project for this fabric because I had two charm packs, and that's what you need. Two charm packs and a couple yards of background. I think 2.5 yards of background or something like that. And after I cut all my background, I had a little bit left. I had just enough left to cut 7 binding strips because that was what I needed, and I did not have a whole lot left over of that binding. I think I had this piece. This was all the binding I had left from, you can't see that. I turned that camera off. This is all the binding I had left from after binding this. This is all that was left. So I had seven binding strips, and after I cut my 7 binding strips, I had a small piece of fabric left, and that's what I put in this bag. That way, all of this fabric is gone. I mean, right here, that's that same grunge right here. And that way, all of this fabric is gone. All of it is gone. I've had it for years, and now it's finally all gone. Just to see this back a little bit better. I started on this side because I had, in the Jolly Box last year, we got this fat quarter, this fat quarter, this fat quarter. We got this red one here, and this red one here, and also this dark green one. And then this dark green one came in Monique's box, in the Open Gate Quilt subscription box that I just opened not too long ago. So basically what I did was I just said, okay, we're going to go dark green, red, and then the lighter green. And then that one black, because the 3 fat quarters were not long enough, so I needed a little bit more. So since I needed a little bit more, I done knocked over my mic. Since I needed a little bit more, I took the black fat quarter and then cut that in half, put half of it with this in this row of 3. And then I put the other half with this row of 3, but on the opposite end. Now, in hindsight, I probably should have, I mean, yeah, and I probably should have sewn, I don't know. I'm a very symmetrical person. So I probably should have sewn the black strip to the light green and then flipped it so that I would have the dark green and the light green here, and then the two reds, and then the dark green and the light green here. But that's neither here nor there. Like when I'm piecing a back, I don't write anything down really. I don't really plan it in advance. I basically plan it as I go. So with this piece back, I started with the fat quarters. It was like, okay. And so I do a little bit of math. I'm like, okay, 20, 40, 60 plus, the fat quarter is about 20 inches by the time I trim off the selvage and even up the top edge of that fat quarter. It might be about 20 inches or 21 inches max. And then I've got seam allowance, and I did a little beefier seam allowance since it's the back of the quilt. So I did maybe 3/8 of an inch maybe instead of 1/4 inch. So I knew that that wasn't enough. So I was like, well, I need something else. So then I came up with the idea of using that black coordinating fat quarter that came with the rest of them. The only one that I didn't end up using was this pink one. This came in that same bundle, but this pink is pretty versatile, even though it technically has snowflakes on it. It doesn't exactly read Christmas, so this can easily be worked into another project. This can go in my fat quarter stash, and then I can use it at a later time when I need something pink. It didn't have to go in here. And then it just didn't really quite make sense to put it in here, even though there's I don't think there's any pink in here. Yeah, there is some pink. There's a tiny bit of pink in some of these prints, these little berries, but the pink wasn't really predominant, and I felt like the pink here was fine, like in the backing, that little bit of pink was fine, but a whole pink fat quarter, I felt like I didn't have anything to balance it out. I liked the balance. I liked having the two lighter greens, and then the two reds, and then the two darker greens, and then then it would, once I had the fat quarters, and it's like, okay, well, how do I need more fabric to get this big enough to be my backing. Then it was like, okay, well, I've got this this strip of the grunge left, so I can work with that. So, okay, so let's add that in. And then I'm like, okay, well, I need more. And so this red, this is a 108 that I backed a quilt with previously. And I had a little bit left over that I had saved. And so I was able to have enough to get two nice size strips here. This is maybe, I don't know, 9 inches. I want to say maybe 8 or 9 that I cut this. But even that wasn't enough. And then I had this also. I had bought these at the same time. I got these from Hancock's of Paducah. I believe it's a Wilmington Essentials 108. I think I probably paid $8 or $9 a yard for it, and it's also a 108. And so I believe I bought 2 yards of it to use as a backing. I have not used it as a backing yet, but I needed a piece of it for this quilt. So I cut some of it off, and I cut off just enough that I would be able to make this work. So it came out great. I'm loving it. I'm glad that I did not do the fleece. I like this better. I love this piece back. I love this quilting. I love the texture. I have not put it in the washing machine yet. So you can see like this line of stitching here. That was like one of those first lines of stitching I did. You can kind of see them going across there. Like that one. And then you can see the next one going down. You can see the one down here. And so once I wash and dry this, that's going to go away. So I'm not really worried about that. But yeah, that's it. So this was the easiest pattern to make. It was incredibly easy, incredibly fast. I'll probably make this quilt again. It was that easy and that fast. Like I said, I had already cut it out. And so the cutting was easy because it was just the cutting was probably the longest part because, you know, a lot of times charm packs aren't easy. They're not, not that they're not easy. A lot of times charm packs aren't exactly 5 inches square. And so I think I took a moment and squared up my, my charm packs. So the first charm pack, you're using the full 5-inch square. So I basically stacked maybe 6 of them, 4, 5, or 6 of them together. And then I used a 5-inch square ruler. I have a 5-inch square ruler. Actually, no, I didn't use the 5-inch square. I think I just used my 6.5-inch square ruler and used that to trim off some of the sides and get rid of some of that extra. So that would be exactly 5 inches. And then for the 2.5-inch squares, what I did was I just cut that whole edge off, that whole pinked edge off of one side, and then cut a 2.5-inch strip, and then cut my 2.5-inch squares. So I knew that those would be, you know, pretty precise. So that was how I did the cutting. So I cut it up, and then I basically just put it in that box right there. I sat it in there. So cut everything up and sat it in there. And then when I was working on another project, I was like, well, why don't I use that for my leaders and enders? It's already pre-cut. It's pre-cut. So why don't I take it out and do it as my leaders and enders? And so that's what I did. And I was able to get almost all of these pieces here. This strip here. This is just a long strip of background and a 2.5-inch square. You piece them together. And I was basically able to get all of that done by doing another project. So when I got all the blocks made for my other project, I just steamrolled on this, like steamrolled. And I think I literally finished all of the piecing. I mean, I want to say it's less than a week from like start to finish. And this is with me doing another quilt as well. So less than a week, start to finish. But again, it was already cut. So I used it as a leader ender. And then once I finished all my blocks for the other quilt, and I focused on this. So once I finished the blocks for my other quilt, I just focused completely on this quilt, entirely on this quilt. And I was able to, I think, get everything pieced in like 2 days. So in 2 days, I had the entire thing pieced, laid out on the floor, and then picked back up in the order that it needed to be sewn in. So, and then once that was done, I was able to get the rows pieced in maybe, I don't know, a day maybe 2 days. And then I was able to get the quilting done. I think I started the quilting last night. So, well, I basted it yesterday as well. So yesterday I basted the quilt and started the quilting. And did I finish the quilting last night? I think I finished the quilting today. I did most of the quilting last night. But again, simple, straight lines using the serpentine stitch and the built-in walking foot on my machine. So it was fast. But I got it quilted, and then I did the binding today. I attached the binding. Well, I made the binding today and attached the binding today. So yeah, this is a quick quilt. You can definitely make this fast. But again, I think if I made it again, I would use the Donna Jordan pattern and some strip piecing, because I think that'll be even faster. It's called Beads. It's free. This pattern is called Chandelier. It's also free. If you want to see a tutorial, Jenny over at Missouri Star did this quilt one day. This is one of her Friday tutorials. and she did a demo on how to make this. I don't remember when that was, but I'm pretty sure I'm remembering correctly that she did do a demo of this pattern. So this video ended up being way longer than I anticipated it being. As usual, I talk too much as usual, but ultimately I am super proud of this quilt. It is going nowhere. It's not going anywhere. I love it. And now I have to try to make another one with fleece on the back or something with fleece, because I really wanted something warm and fleecy and soft. And it's not this. This is still going to be warm, but it's not going to be fleece. So I had to figure out. So I'm about to run to Joann's, and while I'm there, I might look for some fleece to put it on the back of this quilt I'm making here. So when I get that other quilt top done, I'll show you guys that as well. So that's it for me, and I'll see you guys next video.